And at the same time, the television networks began to slot television into news into specific places. The early evening hour.
News.
Television.
Television.
Yes.
Tom Snyder.
I'd say I get a majority of my news from television. Sometimes.
Well, we got our news from the radio, mainly radio.
Yeah, and television too, because didn't read too much. I'm not a reader.
And I think that it's clear that by the mid-1960s, most Americans were getting their news from television.
ABC, NBC, CBS.
In fact, it was in the late 1960s where the person who was sort of the dean of American television journalism, the anchor for the CBS Evening News, Walter Cronkite.
Oh, Walter Cronkite.
Well, yeah, you had your Walter Cronkite.
I really don't have a personal connection with any of them.
Actually, he told people, don't get your news from television. Television news, even what I do, is basically a headline service. If you want to know what's happening in the world, read a newspaper.
I don't really trust any of them because they're all reading teleprompters anyway.
I mean, they had a reputation. You wouldn't even suspect or consider that it might not be biased or slanted. It was the news.
In terms of electoral politics, the first time you see television having a major impact is in the 1960 presidential election, in which John F. Kennedy and Richard Nixon debated 3 times. The decisive one was the first debate. That's the one where people who saw the debate, watched the debate on television, concluded that Kennedy had won. And in fact, more people saw that debate than heard it, which is to say that the television image shaped the message. And this is the first time you see television actually exercising a significant impact on the American election. He understood how to take advantage of television.
Because it was black and white, gray suits, not black suits, too severe.
Kennedy, in addition to preparing for the debate, took a few days off, from campaigning, got himself a good tan on the beach, and he showed up for the debate. He freshly tanned, he looked healthy. He wore a light gray suit, black and white television. The light gray suit showed off the contrast, allowed his tan to be more visible. It was a case where the image shaped the message people were hearing. And that's when you really began to realize television is the thing that is going to revolutionize the way news is presented.
I'll watch like the news at 6, and they'll be like murder in Waterbury, murder in Hartford, rape and murder in Hartford, that kind of stuff.
You've got Fox, you've got MSNBC, you've got CNN. You've got these 24-hour news stations that people turn to. God knows why sometimes.
I'll put like the CNN thing stuff on, and I'll have like hurricane kills everyone.
But people do turn there, and increasingly, of course, people are using the internet.
It's like AOL or something. Whenever I click on to begin my internet experience.
Today, I think that the newspapers that will survive are well-done local newspapers that cover news that no statewide media organization can cover.
It's like when I read the local newspapers, like the Berlin Citizen, I just don't care. I don't care about my town. And then like New Britain Herald is a little bit more interesting, but I can't really read that. And a lot of the news that they think is news, I don't think is news.
Oh gosh, yes.
Do we know where I was? I know where I was.
Our principal came in, and I guess he was going from room to room, and he just gave this like really like elegant speech and trying to make us understand what happened. Because all of us thought it was a joke at first.
Oh yeah, I remember. I remember where I was sitting. In fact,
I was in the movie when I heard it.
I was
at the Strand Theater in New Britain, and the whole movie emptied out.
right away. Yeah.
And we were sitting watching the news, and I remember the clips of like the people falling from the buildings.
in 5th grade at Nissel Avenue, and they announced it. It was during lunch, and we were shocked.
Was stuff that people had sent in.
That's why they let us go home.
We held each other. Yeah, we did.
It was sad.
It was sad. It was sad
I remember
because we saw
crying.
parents crying.
Who told you? Did like someone come out and announce it? Or?
They announced it on the radio. Pearl Harbor's been attacked by the Japanese,
Right in the movie theater.
and we'll be going to war.
Wow.
So the whole movie emptied out.
Yeah.
And 7 days later, Roosevelt declared war.